They just robbed the Hawks. The NBA just robbed the Hawks. Our Hawks twin, Double J, Jalen Johnson, is having an all-star caliber season, but I believe Jalen Johnson has now fallen into that same category of not being as popular as we think that he is amongst media, amongst fans, and possibly amongst players. We're going to get into all that because welcome back to Hawks Digest. Take off those shoes, leave on those socks, and welcome back. I am Chris Tip Moore, and we're going to get into this report about the All-Star voting and also the All-Star starters have dropped, and somebody we know is nowhere to be found. But before I get into that, allow me to get into this. Before we get into the news today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. When you download Kalshi using the link below, make sure you're entering code DIGESTNBA. That is DIGESTNBA, and you'll get 20 when you trade your first 100. Now, Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the US, and you can trade yes or no in real life events, sports, elections, pretty much anything. And they have you covered in all 50 states. Yes, that's including the state of Georgia. And guys, you can really trade on different outcomes, including this outcome right here. Right now, the New England Patriots are scheduled to have 70% chance of winning the AFC Championship game. But if you go with the Denver Broncos with that small 31% chance, and if you put 20 bucks on them, you could possibly win $61 just off of taking a chance on the Denver Broncos possibly upsetting the New England Patriots. It's using Kalshi is just another genuinely smart way to use your sports knowledge, and you can also close positions whenever you want. Again, download Kalshi. Use the link in the description, and don't you forget to make sure you put in Digest NBA, and you'll get the $20 bonus. And thank you again to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the news. Again, thank you to Kalshi once again for sponsoring this video, and don't forget Digest NBA, y'all. But yes, again, Jalen Johnson having an MVP type of season. And when I say MVP, I'm talking about most valuable player for the Atlanta Hawks. All-star caliber season as far as the NBA, as far as the entirety goes. But this guy has been a godsend, and he has evolved. And he is one of the main reasons that the Atlanta Hawks felt comfortable moving outside of just the money and the fit, defense, whatever, the record, the 2-8, etc. But Jalen Johnson, him evolving into the player that he's becoming now, is the reason why the Atlanta Hawks feel comfortable moving forward and building around him. But the All-Star starters have been released and put it on the big screen for you guys because that's interesting. I see the East, I see the West, but I don't see a guy that we know. Western Conference, you see Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Stephen Curry, Shea, Victor Wembanyama. You see those guys are there. It just looks so much more balanced over there, doesn't it? The West just looks crazy. You have basically two centers, and you have guys who can be interchangeable at the different positions, can play combo guard, two guard, and also be, saying the guy that is facilitating the offense. You got Curry, you have Doncic, you have Gildress Alexander. And then you look at the Eastern Conference and you got Jalen, Cade, another Jalen Bronson, then you have Tyrese, and you got Giannis. You have Giannis is going to be the center over there, so you're pretty much going to have Giannis on Wemby, and then you're going to have Maxey and Bronson, two smaller guards, dealing with, let's say, Doncic and Curry. Curry's a little bit bigger now, and then you have also Cade Cunningham, who's going to have to play power forward against Jokic. Good luck. Jaylen Brown obviously going to the small forward, so no telling who he's going to have to deal with, but still. I'm not arguing with the guys who got selected because, the votes are the votes, and guys are having great seasons. I mean, only one guy that Jalen Johnson is even close to is Cade Cunningham points-wise. So you take that and you think about that, and I'm like, you got to be real with yourself. in that regard to where the all-star voting goes. We know it's also can be considered a popularity contest as well. And I'm gonna get into some numbers for you guys here in shortly and to explaining how everything went along. But my personal opinion, I'm like, why not have the best forward? Why not have the best guards and the best center in that type of format? So to me, I'm thinking Tyrese Maxey and Cade Cunningham is 1 and 2 as the guards. You're gonna have Giannis being one of the best forwards. Our guy Jalen Johnson could have been in there, and then you figure out who the center position. But you know what? Let me just get into some numbers for you guys about this. As you see here about the popularity thing. Now you see, I only went as far as 8 players because I went as far as where Jalen Johnson is, and you see at the top, Giannis is sitting at the top. Now you see player votes and player ranking. That is just the player votes like the players for the NBA. And Giannis is at the top, even though he's ranked number 2, but there's a reason for that. And you see Cade Cunningham as far as player rank players. I mean, he's playing for the number 1 seed. They rank him number 1. Jalen Johnson, if you go all the way down, he is ranked number 7, ahead of Karl-Anthony Towns. And I believe, honestly, I mean, you wonder how he gets more votes than Jalen Johnson, Karl-Anthony Towns. He's not having a trash season, but come on now. And honestly, that's because of the media market. He's in the state of New York, or should I say, he's up there in New York, and you think about it, that media and just the popularity and all the money that's around it, those votes are going to be easy for him, you know. But Giannis, going back to being the player vote, he has the most votes in the total fan vote. That ranks him number 1. He's the only guy that has over 3 million. And you look at all those guys in the fan vote. Everyone has over at least a mil except for Jalen Johnson. They still have him labeled as a thousandaire. So he's also ranking number 8 in that regard. So now you got 1 and 1 as far as him being ranked higher than like a Karl-Anthony Towns and possibly right there with a Donovan Mitchell. You look at the media votes, and that's where it gets to the nitty-gritty, guys. That media vote. Because Jaylen Brown is ranked number 1 in the media vote with 98. Ahead of Giannis, ahead of everyone. You know, Cade Cunningham was right there at 97, so he's ranked number 2. And as far as the media votes, Giannis has he's ranked 5th as far as the media rank. When you look at the Wade scores, that's where it all weighs together. They weigh up the fan votes, the player votes, and the media votes, and they get you your final score. And you see that Giannis has a final score of 2.25, 2.75 for Cade Cunningham, 3 for Tyrese Maxey, 3.25 for Jalen Bronson. Jalen Brown has a 3.5, and then you also have Donovan Mitchell with the 6, 7.5 for Karl-Anthony Towns, and our Jalen Johnson 7.75. Now again, you look at this and you like, okay, popularity contest. And I'm like, I feel like it should be the best guards, the best 2 guards, the best 2 forwards, and a center. So for me, for the starters, it would have to be at this guard position, Cade and Tyrese, with Bronson and Jaylen Brown and Donovan Mitchell being the reserves. Then you would have Giannis, and you would also have Jalen Johnson being the forwards with Karl-Anthony Towns as the center, and that's your starting 5. You know? But again, I feel like something has to be changed up. It hasn't been changed yet. But, guys, I want to say this. There is a good thing in this. There is a silver lining. When you look at it, JJ is now in the top 10 of every category in the voting. So even though he is having a tough sledding as far as getting votes in the media, similar to how Trey used to, I still look at it, I'm like, hey, he's in the top 10. I fully expect JJ to be a reserve first All-Star appearance, and then moving forward, we're going to get into some starting positions for JJ. Truly. So I do feel like he got a little robbed. I do feel like the format should be a little different, but I do have to take it with a grain of salt of where the Hawks are. I do have to take it in a grain of salt with the popularity of Giannis. He's an MVP, an NBA champion, and even though his team is behind the Atlanta Hawks, he's still popular. And the rest of the teams, they're on teams that are winning games. Some teams like the New York Knicks are 2-8 in their last 10 games, but at the same time, they still are in a better position than the Atlanta Hawks. They still have Bronson, they still have Cat, even though some people out there say that Bronson is the problem as far as like usage rate, turnovers, and all that stuff like that. Sounds like another guy. Oh, and also a little bit of defense. Sounds like another guy that I knew that wore Atlanta Hawks jersey. But he's going through that now. And then you also have Karl-Anthony Towns. He is in trade rumors. So we ain't talking about trading this guy, but that's neither here or there. I'm not going to babble and rabbit on about it. I do want to have one last thing before I get out of here, though. CJ McCollum. Guys, it's still only 5 games. We have time to figure this out. But the transition for CJ McCollum so far in just 5 games has not been smooth. I feel like his best game was when he first got here. Man, he was still trying to figure it out, kind of like just get his legs up under him. I feel like that was the game where he passed the most. And it's concerning to me because you trade away Trae Young for similar reasons that, you know what I'm saying, you would want to trade away CJ McCollum. You already had a guy like Jalen Johnson who had the ball in his hands. Jalen Johnson, as I told you guys, and hopefully you've been following me, I've been telling you he was having not only an all-star caliber season, but he was 6th in the NBA in assists per game before McCollum became a member of the Atlanta Hawks. Now McCollum has came in and he's led the Atlanta Hawks in the usage rate. And is that a successful formula? Is that a winning formula for the Hawks? So far, it has not been. It just has not been. And you think about it also, I I had to go and I take a deeper dive. So when you look at cleaning the glass, you guys can go look this stuff up too. I'm telling you exactly where I went. Cleaning the glass, you have CJ McCollum with a usage rate of 31.7 in the last 5 games. Again, leading the Atlanta Hawks. But it doesn't just stop there. You also have to think about he is averaging 21.7% as far as assist percentage. That is 23 percentile. And no, that is not good. When you're in the 23 percentile, that is indicating that you have a below average to low ranking in a facilitating type offense. We like to move the ball. This is one reason why you get rid of your point guard, your franchise player. You're moving the ball more, it's touching more hands, guys are more involved, the ball is spread around, and you just have JJ being the focal point and the guy who benefits off of it the most and even initiates the offense. So you had a guy that he was playing that point forward, even though, yes, we said we needed still like backup point guard positions and stuff like that. You just wanted the extra help, the extra ball handling, etc. But again, you have that going, and that's not all for CJ. I'm not done with you yet. 6.9% assists, and that is assist percentage, and it is second percentile. That indicates extremely low level of playmaking involvement for a player related to their peers, y'all. The ball ain't moving. The ball doesn't move enough. And in my whole heart, y'all, I understand that you brought him for ball handling, secondary playmaking, and also because he's a shot maker. Yes, I just knew coming down the stretch in that game, CJ McCollum was going to take that last shot. I knew it. No matter what happened, I knew he was going to take the last shot. And that's exactly what happened. And regardless of the good intention, the good action was not there. And the only action that happened was outside of the refs missing a call, possibly, But at the same time, you can't leave it up to the refs. You can't. And guys, I'm just saying to keep your eye on things. I'm not trying to pick on anybody or anything. I'm just noticing trends, and I'm noticing that things are going in the wrong direction. And the Atlanta Hawks, Quin Snyder, he has got to figure out how he wants to use CJ McCollum so we can get the best out of CJ and we can have the best benefit for the Atlanta Hawks when he's on the floor offensively. You already don't have Kristaps. You already don't have Zach. And the style of play right now, you're going to have to use him. You just have to figure out how you have to implement him better into this offense, or we're going to freaking slide out of the play-in tournament altogether. We're going to look up, and Milwaukee is going to mess around and leapfrog us. And then we'll be in the 11th seed. And then what will be the talk then? Hawks fans, love you guys. Peace and blessings to you all, and to you all, I'll holler.